Welcome back, friends. So another week has passed. I got some more work done, not as much as I would have liked. I don't recall if I had mentioned it in last week's video or not, but my schedule has changed a little bit at work. I used to have Thursday and Friday off. Back in April, they had asked me if I wanted to go to Monday through Friday and have Saturday and Sunday off. And of course, I said yes, because I've been working weekends now for over 2 years. But then we lost some employees. Staffing's been a little short, and they couldn't afford to move me off of weekends completely. But last weekend, they decided that I would now have Sunday and Monday off, but not yet Saturday and Sunday. So, and then this week, today is Sunday, tomorrow would be my next day off, but I'm going to work on Monday this week because, again, we're a little bit short-staffed. So, unfortunately, still, work is the priority in my life. So, not as much done, and probably won't get as much done this coming week as I would have liked as well. So, anyway, let me share with you what I have done. I got more work done on the Diorama base, which is closer to being completed. And then the barn itself, I've got the post timbers up and some horizontal beams to tie those together. I'm currently working on making some roof trusses that still need to be stained, in fact. And then I'll stain and create some wood slat siding for it. We'll do vertical siding on it. But it's going to be all very aged and old looking. And I actually got some color on the car body this week. So hold on, let me grab those items and I'll show you. But before I show it to you, I'm going to show you how we did the work to the base up to this point. All right, so let me roll that. I'm getting ready to lay some static grass on our base, and I'm just starting with the outline of where our shed's going to be, and I'm going to use some straw-colored, very short 4mm grass. I've set up on my dining room table downstairs because it's a bit messy, and I thought I had some brown craft paper, and I couldn't find it, but I found some old Christmas wrapping paper, turned it over, so we can use that to catch all these little bits and pieces that are going to fall off of our base. And what I'm using for glue, this is Mod Podge matte, and I'm using it straight out of the bottle. All right, and I'm going to go on the outside and the inside of our raised wall area here, our little ridge that we created. And then we'll shake on our static grass and we'll see how that turns out. All right. I created a little bit of random patchiness. Now, like I said, I'm going to start with a 4mm straw colored grass. That's what it looks like. Very short stuff. And then we'll go back in later with a lighter green and a medium green. So here's the light green and the medium green, and we'll use that to fill in the other areas. And I'll probably still go in, before I apply that other colored grasses, I'll go in with some model railroad ballast and rock, and we'll add patches of that where the trailer's going to sit, maybe over here in this area where we've got some other accumulated junk under the shed. All right? So here's the process. We've got the glue down. I've got my Static King application tool, and we're just gonna give it a shot. Here we go. All right, and it's important that the tip of the applicator, you can use this pad that they give you. I'm not a huge fan of that. I just use the alligator clip and dip it right in some of the glue. All right, that's gonna create our electrical continuity here. And you just sprinkle it on. Try to get as close to the work surface as you can. All right, and then if your piece is small enough, you can flip it over. Give it a little shake, maybe Little tap on the backside. All right. And most of this is standing up. It's not laying completely flat. It's not completely vertical, but it is standing up enough to look like, dying dead grass in our shed area. So now I can gather this up, and even later you can go in with a vacuum, use maybe a piece of a stocking fabric over the end of it and suck up the loose pieces off your board with that, and you can still reuse the grasses, so you're not wasting it. But another thing is, in the Static King kit, you get this little comb. Looks like a lice comb, which is probably exactly what it was originally. And if you need to, you can go in and help lift up some of these fibers so that they look like they're more vertical standing up. I'm not too worried about it at this stage because this is such a short material. Now the next grasses that I use are 7mm, so they're almost twice as long as this, and it'll be much more obvious if they're all laying down. You want to kind of fluff them up a little bit. And here's one I worked on earlier. This is just a single model carb base, and that's the taller grasses in this. I don't have any of the straw colored grass in this. And this is just done like within the last 30 minutes. So you can see that my glue is still not completely dry. So it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. And this base underneath there is kind of a brown texture paint, rattle can stuff. So that'll help disguise the ground color some. And if you need to, you can go in with Tamiya acrylic paints, thinned really thin with alcohol, like 91% alcohol, and you can shade this with other colors. So if you want a little more brown area or a little darker green area, you can feather that in with the airbrush and the Tamiya paint. Now I've added a little bit of the lighter green grass, which is 7mm, versus this straw color, which is 4mm. And I'm just going to go, well, basically I'm going to go over everything again, just so we get a little bit more color in it, and it's not all like completely dead grass. So let me get my... All right, what I have is some Woodland Scenics. Actually, it is Woodland Scenics. Some gray fine talus, which is a larger rock. And then I have medium gray ballast, which is a smaller rock. And these aren't actually made with rock or stone. It's colored, I think it's colored walnut shells, to be honest. Anyway. What we're going to do is I'm going to apply some more of the Mod Podge glue in certain areas, and we're going to add some stone, quote, stone, to our diorama base. So just like before, this is Mod Podge straight out of the bottle, and we're just going to put it in some of these areas where we don't have the grass. And this is a process of layering textures. So we've got the grass, we've got stone. We may add, we may add some mud. We will probably airbrush some more color into it. So each step gets us closer to a realistic scene, all right? All right, so I got a little area of glue laid down, and I think I'm going to start with the talus rock, which is a little bit bigger, and then what I can do later is go back in with the finer rock and maybe fill in any gaps with that. So I'm just going to pour a little bit into my palm here, and we'll just pinch it and sprinkle over what we've got. Maybe Give it a little tap to make sure it sticks. There. I think you can already see how the layering is going to give it a more realistic appearance. You know, already just this patch right here looks very real to my eye. All right, so here is our diorama base so far. I need to go back in again and add a little bit more of the rock, because I went in with more grass, obviously, and I covered up some of the rock that I had done earlier. You can still very barely see it buried under the grass in there in a few locations, but I want to make it just a little bit more prominent than it is in those areas. You know, like right here, that's fairly obvious and prominent. So we're going to add some more, and I don't know how well you can, yeah, I guess it shows up well on camera. You can see a color difference in the grasses. All the grasses on the interior side of our shed are very light green, and then everything on the exterior is a darker green. And I think that, yeah, I think that shows up pretty good. So, like I said, I'm working on the roof trusses. I'll show you one of them here. All right. So these will span, they'll go from the short end away along the long end of the shed. And what I did is on this area of the shed where there are no walls, where it's kind of open, I broke away the wood to indicate that, you know, maybe a tornado or a strong storm had come through and tore down a portion of the shed. That's why it's open to our viewing on the one side. So just a little bit more to the story, right? But obviously this still needs to be stained, as do the others that I've made for it. And then I'll have to do the same with some balsa wood for the vertical siding that we're going to make. So that's the diorama base at this point. Much closer to being done with that. And then the car body. Let me show you the color on the car body. So this is MCW Finishes lacquer. The color is 7041 yellow gloss lacquer, which is an identical match to the yellow that Ford used on this model year. So that's what we're going with. Laid down pretty good. There is no gloss coat on it, but it's got a bit of a shine. It's almost like a semi-gloss. But that's fine. We're not going to add a gloss coat to it because it's sitting in a barn, it's dirty, it's dusty, blah, 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 right? So, and then what I've got masked off here, this cross member across the front where like the radiator would be, that is a semi-gloss black. And then I did the interior with a flat black, and then I taped that off with some masking tape so I could spray the outside and not have to redo the interior. So there we are with that. So that's progress up to this point this week. And progress is progress. Whether it's slow, whether it's a lot, whether it's a little, we're still moving in the right direction. And by my calendar, I've got about 6 weeks from now till the Acme show where I want to be done with this. I should have plenty of time. I don't think I'll need the whole 6 weeks. That's the hope, anyway. So, thanks y'all for tuning in again. Welcome to any new members that might have subscribed this past week. And if you're new and you're just now tuning in to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Subscribe so you get all the videos that I post. and give me some feedback. Let's chat. I hope you all have a good week this week. Peace and love.